Today, we're diving into something that's shifting from science fiction to the front lines of medicine: artificial intelligence. We're going to break down how AI is becoming the new fundamental operating system for cancer care, not in the distant future, but right now.
To really get why AI is so critical, you first have to understand the sheer scale of the information problem in oncology. Get this, a new medical article is published, on average, every 26 seconds. Just imagine being a doctor trying to keep up with that constant tidal wave of new data to give your patients the best care. It's a superhuman task.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll look at why cancer care is at a breaking point. Then we'll see why AI is the necessary intervention. After that, we'll explore the 5 key fronts where it's already making a huge impact. We'll touch on the new competitive landscape that's emerging, and finally, we'll look at what the future of this human plus AI partnership really looks like.
Right, so as that 26-second statistic really hammers home, modern cancer care has been pushed to its absolute limits. You've got this incredible volume of research, the growing complexity of genomic data, all of it is creating an environment of information overload. And understandably, it's also creating a healthy dose of doubt about new technologies.
And that doubt, it is very real. A Medscape survey shows just how split clinicians are on this. About a third of oncologists say AI has improved how they diagnose or stage cancer, but then another third completely disagrees. And the last third, they're basically on the fence, still undecided. It's a perfect three-way split, which really shows you just how early we are in this whole transition.
And, it's not just the doctors who are a little wary, patients are too. A big review of over 19 studies found that patients are generally on board with AI, but, and this is a big but, only when a human physician is firmly in charge. Their biggest worries, things like the depersonalization of care, data privacy, and of course, the potential for algorithmic bias. So the takeaway here is pretty clear. Trust has to be earned.
So, despite all these hesitations from both doctors and patients, the market is placing a massive bet that AI isn't just helpful, but that it's absolutely necessary. The investment world sees this data overload problem and is pouring capital into AI as the only viable solution.
And the scale of that bet is just remarkable. In the first half of 2025 alone, AI-powered companies pulled in a staggering $4 billion. That's double the investment in all other digital health sectors combined. Now, what makes this even more wild is that it's happening while the rest of the biotech sector is actually in a funding downturn. The money is clearly and decisively flowing to AI.
Okay, so where's all this money and all this technology actually going? Well, that brings us to the core of what we're talking about today. We're going to look at the 5 key fronts where AI is being deployed right now to actively transform cancer care, from the research lab all the way to the clinic.
These are the 5 battlegrounds: making research smarter, getting sharper imaging, enabling better clinical decisions, running faster trials, and, finally, empowering patients. Let's start at the top with that first front, smarter research.
First up is tackling that data overload head-on. You got tools like the American Society of Clinical Oncology's Guidelines Assistant, which helps oncologists get instant cited answers from clinical guidelines. And then you have these massive platforms like Open Evidence. Get this, almost 40% of US physicians use it daily, generating over 8 million clinical searches every single month. It's quickly becoming the go-to tool for interpreting medical studies on the fly.
Next up is imaging, and this is where the power of AI becomes incredibly clear. In mammography, a major randomized trial found that when radiologists were supported by an AI, they detected 17% more cancers than with the standard method of having 2 doctors review the scan. And for women with dense breast tissue, which is a notoriously difficult diagnostic challenge, an AI tool from a company called iCAD helped detect 22% more cancers. I mean, these are not small improvements. These are truly life-saving leaps in accuracy.
AI is also becoming what many call a co-pilot for oncologists when they're making treatment decisions. Precision oncology is incredibly complex, but AI systems from companies like Tempus and Lunit can synthesize these massive amounts of data, genomics, imaging, pathology reports, to help doctors choose the most effective personalized therapy for each individual patient.
We all know clinical trials are the absolute backbone of cancer progress, but finding the right patients for those trials is a huge bottleneck. Well, AI is changing that. Platforms like Deep6 AI can scan millions of patient records in just minutes, matching eligible patients to trials up to 3 times faster than the old-school manual methods. This means new therapies get to patients faster than ever before.
And here is a stunning, real-world example of that impact. A community hospital in Kentucky started using a platform called OncoLens. By automatically scanning patient records and flagging those who met the criteria for genetic testing but had somehow been missed, it led to a 350% increase in testing orders. That means so many more patients are getting the right diagnostics to enable more personalized care. It's incredible.
And finally, the fifth front. AI is moving directly into the hands of patients themselves. About 1 in 3 adults in the US now use AI to get health information. You've got apps like Outcomes for Me, with over 280,000 users, that help patients really understand their diagnosis and treatment options. And then tools like CureWise help them organize all their medical records and get ready for doctor's appointments. Patients are becoming active participants in their own data-driven care.
So, with all of this innovation happening, it's no surprise that the business of cancer care is also being completely reshaped. We're seeing the rise of these powerful new platforms, and it's forcing everyone, from pharma companies to hospital systems, to rethink their entire strategies and partnerships.
This slide really gives you a great market map of all the action. You see companies like Path AI getting FDA clearance to make a primary diagnosis just using digital images. You see consolidation with the imaging giant RadNet acquiring iCAD to make AI mammography a standard of care. And you see major platform building, with Tempus not only buying the trial recruitment tool Deep6 AI, but also getting selected for the ARPA-H program, that's the Federal Agency for Biomedical Breakthroughs, which just further solidifies its role as this end-to-end data and analytics engine.
So all of this brings us to the future. This whole transformation isn't about replacing clinicians. It's about redefining roles. It's about creating a powerful new partnership between human expertise and algorithmic precision. It's about establishing a whole new standard of care.
The big takeaway is this: AI is no longer a nice-to-have or some kind of novelty. It's rapidly becoming a core, integral component of high-quality cancer care. From research and diagnosis to treatment and trials, operating without these data-driven insights will soon be like a doctor operating without a stethoscope. It is the new baseline.
And that leaves us with the one big question we all really need to be thinking about. As these tools become more and more powerful, what is the optimal role for the clinician, and what is the role for the algorithm? Finding that perfect synergy is the next great challenge, and it's also probably the greatest opportunity we have in the fight against cancer. Thanks for joining me.